Welcome to DrivenMavens.com. My name is Arvind, and we're going to talk about color compositions. Alright, I've got a couple of plates here. All I've done here is just replicated the same image, and we've got a Porsche GT3, and I put them side by side. And what we want to do is start to experiment with different kinds of color backgrounds or just different kinds of compositions. Not that this is bad. My only issue that I've got with this right now is the fact that I feel that the background colors that I've got right now is very bright compared to the actual car. I want to make sure that the car is the focal point, but not to have too many bright colors in the background and the foreground, the road and the grass, all those other areas in the track. So I want to make sure that I'm able to add the light sources in a particular area that I can pop out the car a little bit more. Okay, so I've got all these areas that I'm kind of scribbling here that I want to make a little bit dark, and then I want to make sure that I'm a little bit brighter where the car is going to be. So I take the dark and transition to the light. So let's just see what we can do here, and then at the end of this I'm going to show you what I ended up coming up with for the final painting, which I did make some changes. We're going to speed up the video here, and all we're going to do is just start blocking in some very dark colors. No rhyme and reason. All I've done is just taken some of the purple hues and trying to drop that in there, maybe transition to a little bit reddish brown color. What's nice is that you can, when you're using Photoshop, you can do things quick and dirty. If I were to do this with markers or something like that, it would take quite a bit more time. You don't have to, even when you're doing it with markers, it's not that it's a bad idea, it's just that you may want to go even more abstract. You don't have to have a lot of detail and stuff like that. All you want to do is just block in and just get a sort of an idea of what it is that can generate a little bit more creativity. As you start putting down those colors, what you're going to discover is that, hey, maybe I can add a little bit of oranges to this side, add a little bit more warmth, and just play around with it. Don't have to be, don't have to take the painting too serious at this point. Again, I'm not getting very detailed here. Everything's just kind of roughed in. I'm just going to adjust my colors here. And darken up that shadow a little bit. Not sure. I want to bring that darker hues across, maybe lighten it up here in the center. And notice that I haven't really zoomed into the picture. All I'm doing right now is just zooming out a little bit and just checking it. Zoom back in to add a little bit more detail, even though that is not quite correct. It looks like I chopped the top of the car off the Porsche a little bit, so maybe we can fix that. Maybe I've got some paint that's just add a little bit of dynamics to it by taking the color from the wheels and just spreading it out a little bit, using that nice saturated red color and just dragging that out. See how we can kind of play with that a little bit. Put a little hot spot there. One thing that I typically try to do is reassess my light sources. If I start to change things around a little bit depending on the colors that I start to add, if I don't like it, then I might have to make sure I can make some adjustments, and that's where all your basics come into play. How light affects an object, how does it bounce off and reflect light, that sort of thing. Pretty important when you're getting ambitious and trying something new and just trying to create. It's not just enough to be a good artist and replicate what you see, but part of being a good artist is to also stretch the imagination and then know how to make something look somewhat realistic without even having the photo reference. I know the photo reference I was working off of for this particular GT3, it looks nothing like this. Alright, so that plate is done. Now we're going to try something else. Maybe I will get rid of the darker colors and just go with a straight orangish background. I don't know if I'm going to like it, but that's exactly why we're doing this, is to test it out, see if we like it, zoom out a little bit. When you zoom out, you can kind of see how do the colors blend, what do they look like. And you blur your eyes a little bit. When you blur your eyes a little bit, it just helps your brain to just focus on the darks and the lights and the value changes, the value spread. So when I blur my eyes, when I look at the left side, I can see the car popping out a little bit. You got that nice intense light coming from the headlamps, and then you've got the right side that's quite a bit darker. Once again, it adds a nice contrast to the headlamps. I'm here now experimenting with some brushes to see if I can get a different texture, different effect to it. I'm not sure if I really like the one on the right hand side. So judging from this painting, from where I'm going to be headed, I end up actually choosing the one on the left. So let's just take a look at and see what we end up with. And here we go. We got light sources that have been readjusted. I've got a nice hot spot. I want to make sure that I've got enough details in the headlamps and make sure that the brightness from the headlamps are not taking away from the detailing of the actual headlamps themselves, and adding a little bit more character to the brush strokes in the background and get some intensity, and that's pretty much it. So I hope you enjoyed this particular episode, and we will see you next time on drivenmavens.com.